Hello, everyone, and welcome to this guide for workers and resources, Soviet Republic, to footpaths and roads. In this guide, we're going to cover the different types of footpaths and roads, the construction process of them, upgrading them, walking distances for your citizens, and some tips and tricks. So let's start off with our footpaths right here. They come in 6 different varieties. They can all be found right down here under your pedestrian tab. The first one available is the mud footpath. It has a walking speed of 50%, and any vehicle traveling on it can move at 15 kilometers per hour. Then you upgrade to the gravel footpath. It has a walking speed of 87% and a max vehicle speed of 35%. Then next we jump over to the brick footpath, which it comes with the Early Start DLC. You see it has a walking speed of 95%, and again a max speed for vehicles of 35 kilometers. The asphalt footpath also has a walking speed of 95% and a maximum speed for cars of 35 kilometers. And finally, we have the brick footpath with lamps with a walking speed of 100% and a max speed of cars for 35 kilometers, and the asphalt footpath with lamps with a walking speed of 100% and 35 kilometers an hour. What are the advantages? What are the differences between these types of footpaths? Well, the dirt footpath here, it's free. It's instant build. You put it down and it serves its basic purpose. The next upgrade would be putting the gravel road down. Now, this one actually has to be constructed if you're in realistic mode. It has one phase of construction where the gravel is laid over the existing dirt footpath. This can be done via vehicles such as an excavator or a bulldozer. The brick footpath is the next upgrade from there, and on top of the gravel surface, they lay a layer of bricks. So this is built in 2 construction phases. One, same as the gravel, where they lay the gravel, can all be done by machinery. And then the second phase, which has to be done by workers, where they lay bricks along the footpath. The asphalt footpath is built in 3 phases. The first phase is where they lay the gravel. The second phase, they pour the asphalt. And the third phase, they roll the asphalt smooth. Now, this can all be done by equipment once you have pavers and rollers unlocked. If you're playing in Early Start, that's not available till about 1950. Pre-1950, this all has to be done by hand. Then the brick footpath and the asphalt footpath can both be upgraded with lamps, and that adds one additional phase to each of those, where it must be completed by workers, where they come out and they install the lamps. Now let's move on to roads. So the types of roads, and these are all done by speed. So they can be found right here under Roads/Vehicles on your first tab. So the first one we have is the mud road, and it has a maximum speed of 35 kilometers an hour. It does have a walking speed of 50 kilometers, but I would advise you to ignore walking speeds on roads. While your pedestrians can walk on roads, footpaths are much, much better. Then we go to the gravel road, which has a maximum vehicle speed of 60 kilometers per hour. Then we upgrade to the brick road, which has an 80 kilometer speed. The panel road, which also has an 80 kilometer speed. The brick road with sidewalk, which has an 85 kilometer speed. The asphalt road with 110 kilometers. Asphalt road with street lights and sidewalk, which is 110 kilometers, and the one-way road, which is also 110 kilometers. Again, what's the difference between them? Same as before, the mud road, the dirt road, it's free, it's instant build, it goes down. One of the disadvantages to the mud road, though, is that when it rains, all your vehicles are slowed on the mud road. The next one is the gravel road. So much like the footpaths, this just involves laying a layer of gravel over the top of the existing dirt road. It's one construction phase and can all be done by equipment. The brick road is, again, just like the footpaths, 2 construction phases. One where you lay the gravel, and the second one where you have to have workers come back and install the bricks. The panel road is also built in 2 phases, one where you lay the gravel, and then a second one where you have workers come back and install prefab panels on top of the gravel. To upgrade the brick one to have sidewalks requires a 3rd phase in which the workers come out and install the sidewalks and the lamps. The asphalt road was built just like the asphalt footpath, so it is 3 phases: the gravel phase, the pouring out of the asphalt, and the rolling the asphalt. Once again, this can all be done by equipment once you have unlocked pavers and rollers. To upgrade to these with sidewalks and street lamps requires 1 additional work phase where your workers come out and install the sidewalks and the footpaths. And then finally, the one-way road is built exactly like the asphalt road in 3 phases: gravel, pouring asphalt, rolling asphalt. Then we have some specialty roads. We have ones that hold trolley buses. There are only 2 types. It either has to be an asphalt road or a brick road, and they're built exactly the same as the basic brick and asphalt, and then the 1 additional phase where they install the poles and lights for the trolley buses. And then finally, we have the tram roads. That allow tram traffic. One is built off of the panel road, one is off the asphalt road, and one is off of the brick road. The main difference between these here is the panel road. If we look at it right here, tram track, no access for pedestrians or cars. Only trams can travel along this road. All of the other roads for both the trolley buses and the trams will allow vehicle travel if you permit it, as well as pedestrian travel. Now, a couple tips on building roads and footpaths. Now, you notice I said that most of these can be done completely by equipment, either a bulldozer and excavator for the gravel stage, and then a roller and a paver for the asphalt stage. That depends on the length of the segment. So right here, I have some footpaths. This footpath is 10 long. Let's get out our handy dandy measuring tool, and you can see it is 10 meters long. Okay. This other footpath right next to it is 11 meters long. If your footpath is 10 meters long or less, it cannot be built by equipment. It must be built by hand. The way you can tell is if you click on this, it just shows workers right here. If we go to the 11-meter one, now it has a spot here for mechanisms on the construction site. So an excavator, bulldozer, paver, roller, whatever phase you're on, can come out and perform all of the work without having to have workers. On roads, it's 20-meter length. So any road 20 meters or less must be completely constructed by hand. Any road that's 21 meters or longer can be constructed by machinery, as you see here. 21 meters has a mechanism for construction. 20 meters, no mechanism for construction. Now the next thing. We talked about the walking speeds on all of these. What does that equate to in game? Well, it equates to this right here. So we have one train platform, and we have some House of Cultures out here. We have a dirt footpath, a gravel footpath, an asphalt footpath, and an asphalt footpath with lamps. Now remember, brick and asphalt have the same travel speed. These are all set at the maximum distance that a person can walk along that path. So if we come over here and we look at our train station, let's just pin that right there for now, and we go to walking. You can see that the dirt footpath allows you to walk 239 meters, gravel 419, asphalt 459, and once you add street lamps, maximum walking distance of 479 meters. You cannot walk any farther on any of these paths without some special tips and tricks, which we'll get to here in a little bit. So use this to plan the walking system within your republic. In Workers and Resources, the more things that your citizens can walk to, the better. It's easier on your transportation system. They will handle all of their own needs. They will go to work. They will do all of those things. So do you need asphalt footpaths? Do you need asphalt footpaths with lamps? It all depends. Do you really need that extra 40 or 60 meters? Or are you perfectly happy with the 419 meters? It's all how you lay out your city. Now, I did talk about some tips and tricks. So, right here, we have some houses of culture, and they are all connected with a gravel footpath. So gravel footpath here, this one has a steel overpass. This one has the concrete overpass. This one has a tunnel, and this one has a pergola in the middle. If you come here to footpaths and you take a look at it, they're all right here. So pedestrian overpass steel, and you have the two pergolas. They're both exactly the same. They just look a little bit different. Pedestrian overpass concrete. These are the bridges. So these right here, the overpasses, is just the staircases. That's it. Then you have the bridges right here, steel and concrete. And then finally, you have the pedestrian underpass. There's a couple different ones. You have the regular one, you have the metro one with stairs, and the metro one with escalators. Words are hard. And then finally, we have the tunnel, which if we look underground, there is a tunnel connecting it. So besides allowing you to get over different obstacles or under different obstacles, such as factory connections and things like that you can't cross, there is a secret advantage to overpasses and tunnels. And that is that this entrance and these stairs do not count towards the maximum walking distance that your people will travel. What do I mean? So all of these are set exactly the same distance apart. They're all laid out. If we pull up the grid, you can't see the grid. Trust me, if you pull out the grid, you look at them, they're all exactly the same apart. So we look here. So this is 142 meters. Okay. This one right here with the steel overpasses in there, the walking distance, it's only 105 meters. Okay. 37 meters. This walking path disappeared. And that's the size of your two stairwells. This one right here with the concrete, it's 106. If we go to the tunnels, it's 109. So these pieces right here don't count to your walking distance. So if you want, you can extend the walking distance of your citizens by adding in overpasses or tunnels. It's all up to you. Whether or not you feel that that's cheating the system or whatever, it's a game. You play it the way you want. You have fun. That's what's important at the end of the day. And then last is the pergolas. Now, these were added by the developers. They are specifically designed to reduce walking distances. So once again, our main walking distance is 142 meters. With one pergola installed, it's now 131 meters. Okay? It cut 11 meters out of that distance. So you could run multiple pergolas. You do have to have a section of path in between them, but you can run pergola after pergola after pergola and extend your walking distance from the maximum distance up here of 479 meters. You could put that to 550, 600 meters, however you want to do it. The last thing I'm going to cover is a couple little tips and tricks when it comes to your roads and footpaths. Now, one of the things to keep in mind when you come over here and you build these roads, so like you build these footpaths with the lamps on them, or the roads with the lamps on them, the side that they're on is based off of the direction in which you build the road. Okay? And we will come down here and we're just going to build, let's build an asphalt footpath or road with streetlights. We'll put the grid on and you see how the streetlights lamps are on that far side right there. If I build the road the other way, it puts them on the opposite side. Okay? Same thing with the footpaths. If I go in and I do a footpaths with street lamps, depending on the way I draw the road or the footpath, it changes the side that the lamps are on. Now, one thing to keep in mind is this is based off of the way the road or footpath is drawn initially. So if you upgrade a footpath, so let's say we're going to build a dirt footpath here, and then we'll build one here going that way. But I drew one top to bottom and one bottom to top. Let's go ahead. Now, it's back to this. So we're going to upgrade them to footpaths with lamps. So I'm going to draw both of them from the bottom up. Okay? And look what happens. It flipped the lamps. So if I just build them normally, it's going to put both of the lamps on the left-hand side. However, because this footpath, when I initially drew it, was drawn from the top to the bottom, the game remembers that. So if you are going to come in and upgrade your footpaths, if you want to have footpaths with lamps because you like the way they look in your city or whatever, and you are particular on what side you want the lamps on, or same thing with your street lamps, you need to delete your previous roads or footpaths and draw them all in the same direction so that they all keep the lamps on the same side. And the last thing I've got for you is going to be covering nodes. So what are nodes? All right, so let's take a footpath right here, okay? So a footpath or road is broken into two sections. You have nodes and you have segments. A node is the start and the end of a segment, and the segment is what is in the middle, okay? So right now, the game considers this to be one entire piece. So if I come in here and I want to upgrade it to a gravel footpath, it highlights the whole thing. It is one continuous piece. Now you can put nodes, and node is going to be a connection point inside your footpath. So now if I draw another footpath off of here, there's now a node right there. It's a snapping point. Consider it. Now let's turn the grid off so you can see where all the little snapping point nodes are. And you can just pick one wherever you want. Now, once you have a node established, you have to go a certain distance away before you can place another node. So you see how far that is to where the next node is, but yet then if I go this way, it's a much smaller increment. So there's a minimum distance between your nodes. Okay? So now when I go in, because I have these other footpaths here and I've created these nodes, if I want to upgrade this, that's one segment. It doesn't count it as one enormous piece. If I take this out, it still only counts it as one segment because that node is already there. You see, it just instantly snaps right to there. So how do you get rid of nodes? This right here connects two pieces. When you turn that on, that will highlight all your nodes in purple. Or pink. I think it looked purple, whatever. Simply click on it and it's gone. Now I can come in and I can upgrade, and that's considered one whole piece. So for building throughout your city, especially when you're doing the initial layout of your city, and it's easier to build one long piece than it is to come in and build multiple smaller pieces. So one of my suggestions is, again, let's lay this out. So we're going to have all these footpaths coming off of this main footpath. This is going to be our lamp. So we could come in and we could just upgrade, and it'll build this section, then it'll be this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, and this one. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different jobs. And it can only start from say this end and this end. It can't work these jobs in the middle unless it has another point to connect to. So what I suggest doing is you come in and just pull these back just a little bit. Now we turn this into one big construction job. Once it's finished, then you can come in, your nodes will already be there, and you can reconnect that up. The same thing works for roads. That's all I've got for you guys for today. I hope you found this informative. And if so, please give it a like. If you want to see more content like this, please give me a subscribe. Thanks a lot, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.